Hey everybody, today I'm going to be showing you how to draw typography like this. It's a very free-form, liquid type of lettering, and it's very unique because it can't be done using a font. Every curve of every letter affects how the next letter will look like. So I'm going to show you how to draw it by hand, step by step. Here we go. I'm going to be using a Wacom tablet, but you can do it on pencil and paper too if you like. So first thing I'm going to teach you is how to make some guides. You want to just write out your text roughly and find the center point, which for me is the R and the G. Then draw out the arcs, which are the lines that the text is going to follow. Then draw a center line and draw the R and the G, the center letters in there, and roughly draw the rest of the letters. You can see they're slightly tilted and we're going to use them for reference for positioning. Then we can turn our opacity down and add a new layer, and we can begin our rough sketch. So for the rough sketch, don't think about it too much, just try to put something down on the paper, because we can refine this over and over many times. One thing you want to keep in mind is to make sure that everything is very circular and rounded. So here's a diagram showing you that basically the whole style is built up of circles. It's just a bunch of small circles in different sizes, which gives it some variation, makes it look really free. But the end of each letter is basically a perfect circle, which is really important because it's the main aspect of this typography style. Then I'm going to place in some rulers and just make sure the text is positioned properly. You can also use the selection tool and the move tool to make sure everything is centered. Now we're going to begin cleaning it up. So I'm going to start by using the eraser tool and hollowing out this text, making sure everything is really rounded and circular, also varying the thickness of the text. In regards to thickness, it's very important in terms of legibility. So this is Times New Roman, arguably the most legible font of all time. And you can see here, the thickness is varied in every single letter very consistently. So on the O, the left and the right side of the O are very thick, but the top and the bottom are very thin. And variations in thickness like this really help the legibility. And you can see it's consistent throughout each letter, which is what makes it so easy to read. So you want to try to do this in your own font. And you can see here in all of my letters that there's some very, very thin parts and some very thick parts. And that also adds a lot of character to the text as well. Then the last thing to do is just drag it into Illustrator and trace it. You can use the pen tool if you want, but I feel like there is less control with that, so I prefer using the curve tool. You can watch my last video if you want to find out how I outline text in Illustrator like this. This is also your last chance to mess with the arrangement, so make sure the letters are a good distance apart from each other and everything's perfectly centered. And then when you're done, you can add some different colors. You can add effects like some shadows, drop shadows, or you can add a 3D effect as well that Illustrator introduced only recently, and I think that looks pretty cool. So with the end product, you can see that the circles are still there, which is the main aspect of the style. It's really important to get it super rounded, and you can see the variations in thickness throughout each letter, which is what keeps its legibility. Oftentimes people might go too wild with this and it becomes really illegible. And if you're having problems with legibility for typography, I'd suggest zooming out a lot, and if you can't read it from far away, that means you probably need to work on the legibility. And that's it. I hope you've enjoyed the video, hope you learned something new, and if you did, leave a like and subscribe. And if you don't subscribe, I'll never be happy. I need you to subscribe for me to be happy. Thank you.